Good evening and welcome to the November 5th, 2018 regular meeting of Mayor and City Council. First item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I would like to invite Lisa Merkin, Rob Shear, Reese Shear, and Kim Stokes to the podium to come lead us in the pledge, and if everyone else can please rise. Go ahead.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much. Next item on our agenda is reflection, and I'd like to call for a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. Tonight, as I mentioned before we went on the air, it's a little unusual for us because several of our council members are out of town, and so we have two council members. They're good council members. I'm not going to. Don't mean to demean them, diminish them. But we cannot formally conduct any business that would have required a vote. So tonight we're going to focus on a number of presentations, and we'll hear from the public if anyone from the public wants to speak, and we'll hear from the city council and the city manager as usual. So the first presentation, I'd like to invite our council members to join me at the podium as we proclaim Municipal Government Works Month. Ryan, I'm going to let you read the cover sheet.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. As the level of government closest to the people, local government offers its citizens the best opportunity to be heard and to influence the course of the community. Self-governance is inherently dependent on the awareness of citizens and the level of commitment they have in regard to participating in government. The Maryland Municipal League, or MML, encourages local municipalities to celebrate Municipal Government Works Month in an effort to educate citizens about the role and function of government. MML is asking member municipalities to take this opportunity to join the Go Purple movement, an initiative of the Heron Project, which is a substance abuse prevention program designed to engage and educate young people about the dangers of substance use and help them make positive life choices for their health and happiness and empower them to stand up for those choices. And that's why many of us are wearing these purple lapel pins this evening. Throughout the month of November, the city will show its support in preventing substance abuse and alleviating the opioid crisis with the following. Resource information will be made available on the city's website and shared through its social media outlets. The city's logo will be temporarily colored purple. The mayor and city council members will wear these purple lapel pins, and various city facilities will be flooded with purple lighting at night. Also, local businesses and residents will be recruited to adopt the purple lighting for the month, and staff and elected officials will be asked to wear purple on Municipal Government Works Wednesdays in November and post pictures on our social media platforms. The city will advertise the statewide 211 hotline, which is a number that is available on our website. And staff is looking at participating in either a joint or standalone town hall meeting to further engage the community on the opioid crisis, with details forthcoming. Thank you.
All right. Proclamation of the Mayor and City Council of Gaithersburg. Whereas the city was incorporated in 1878, and whereas Maryland is home to 157 other municipalities and 2 special districts, and whereas municipal government represents the most responsive level of government, allowing citizens to have direct access to elected officials And whereas in an effort to educate citizens about municipal government and the importance of their participation, the city of Gaithersburg is proud to promote municipal government awareness. And whereas municipalities have enhanced the quality of life for their respective residents, maintaining natural and historic sites and structures, and helping to make Gaithersburg and Maryland great places to live, work, and play. Now, therefore, I, Judd Ashman, by the power vested in me as mayor of Gaithersburg, do hereby proclaim November 2018 to be Municipal Government Works Month in the city of Gaithersburg. It's proclaimed this 5th day of November, signed by me, and let's give these guys a great round of applause for accepting. They get to determine who gets to keep that thing. Okay, next we're going to proclaim it American Indian and Alaska Native Heritage Month. And I'd like to call to the podium Mary Beardsley, Employee Association of the Indian Health Service, and any other members of the Indian Health Service who are here, Andy Rosati from our staff, and anybody from our Multicultural Affairs Committee. And I'm going to let Andy read the cover sheet.
Good evening. American Indian and Alaska Native Heritage Month is a time to celebrate the rich culture, traditions, and proud ancestry of Native Americans, and to recognize the vital contributions they have made and continue to make into the art, history, traditions, and diversity of our society. In 1990, President George H.W. Bush approved a joint resolution designating November of 1990 as National American Indian Heritage Month. Similar proclamations under variants on the name, including Native American Heritage Month and National American Indian and Alaska Native Heritage Month, have been issued each year since 1994. The key purpose of these resolutions have been to encourage federal, state, and local governments, groups and organizations, and the people of the United States to observe such a month with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. The city of Gaithersburg recognizes the importance of celebrating the heritage, history, art, and traditions of those who were the original inhabitants of our country. A social powwow was held in partnership with the Employee Association of Indian Health Service on November 3rd at the Activity Center. The event was free and open to the public. The activities included traditional music, dancing, native arts vendors, children's games, arts and crafts, and there was food for sale. Mary Beardsley from the Employee Association of Indian Health Service will accept the proclamation.
And while you all are still here, I want to congratulate everyone on that fantastic event. Councilmember Spiegel and I were there, and it was just wonderful. So, proclamation of the Mayor and City Council of Gaithersburg. Whereas American Indians and Alaska Natives have played a vital role in this country, and their many contributions have enhanced freedom, prosperity, and greatness in America today. And whereas by celebrating American Indian and Alaska Native Heritage Month, we affirm our commitment to remember those contributions and to honor the unique heritage of our continent's first inhabitants. And whereas this special observance reflects the rich heritage and great influence that American Indians and Alaska Natives have had on our nation's history and culture, and also reflects our continuing commitment to American Indian and Alaska Native tribal governments as an integral part of the social, political, and economic fabric of the United States. Now, therefore, I, Judd Ashman, by the power vested in me as Mayor of Gaithersburg, do hereby proclaim November 2018 as American Indian and Alaska Native Heritage Month, and urge all city residents to participate in this observance, thereby fostering the celebration of diversity and keeping strong the rich cultural foundation of our community. Proclaim this 5th day of November 2018. Let's give them a great round of applause for accepting it. if you'd like to say a few words.
Again, my name is Mary Beardsley. I'm an enrolled member of the Pawnee Nation of Oklahoma, and I'm also Laguna Pueblo from New Mexico. We've got a gift. Half of our committee, a powwow committee, lives in Gaithersburg for many years, and we enjoyed the city so much and enjoyed partnering with the Multicultural Committee, and we always have a great time and a great turnout, and we always appreciate our mayor coming and speaking and participating. So we wanted to give him a small gift to the city, all of the city. And this is just a description of what a dream catcher is. Short version is that it filters dreams in with the good, out with the bad, kind of a thing. So we wanted to present it to the city in hopes to keep the good things in and to filter and keep away the bad, so we can continue to be a great city.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, let's do a picture.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. We can share this. I was saying to the council, we can share this because it's not fair that only the mayor gets to have all the good dreams. Okay, this is a first for us. I'd like to invite Rob Shear, founder of Comfort Cases, Inc., Kim Stokes, Director of Programs and Operations for Comfort Cases, Lisa Merkin, Head of Child Welfare Services, Montgomery County Government, 2018 CNN Heroes. Come on up. So this is a first for us. We are going to proclaim Emerging Foster Care with Dignity Day in the city. You have the proclamation. Thank you guys for being here. Good job with the pledge. Children entering the foster care system are often removed from their homes under highly stressful circumstances, sometimes leaving with just a trash bag filled with meager belongings. To offer them care and dignity, Comfort Cases provides appropriate carrying cases filled with essential items and tokens of comfort as they embark on their journey to find their forever home. Accepting this proclamation is Rob Shear, who is the founder of Comfort Cases, a local nonprofit organization that has served more than 40,000 foster children across the United States since it was established in 2013. And I'm going to read the proclamation and then invite you all to say a few words if you like. On behalf of the Mayor and City Council of Gaithersburg, whereas every child deserves to grow up in a safe, loving, and stable environment that will help them achieve their goals for a happy and productive life, and whereas in Montgomery County, more than 400 children are currently in the custody of the Department of Social Services, and whereas many of these foster children cannot be returned to the custody of their parents and thus need the secure, nurturing environment of a new permanent family, and whereas National Adoption Awareness Month seeks to build awareness of both foster care and permanent adoption opportunities for children and our community. Now, therefore, I, Judd Ashman, by the power vested in me as mayor of Gaithersburg, do hereby proclaim November 2018 as Adoption Awareness Month in the city of Gaithersburg, and invite residents to participate in programs and activities that expand their knowledge about foster care and the rewarding experience of being an adoptive parent. Proclaim this 5th day of November 2018, signed by me. Let's give them a great round of applause. One more.
Just one more.
This is the social media one.
This is the one that's that matters.
Please, if you'd like to say a few words. Of course.
Yeah. First, anybody who knows me and has ever met me. My name is Rob Shear, and I'm the founder of Comfort Cases, and I am the proud father of my son Tristan, my son Makai, my son Grayson, and my daughter Amaya. And my husband and I today celebrate Gotcha Day. Today is our day that we signed our adoption decree with our children 8 years ago. See, most of you don't realize that we have 4,300 kids in the state of Maryland that are in our foster care system. They're waiting for a forever home. They enter a home with a trash bag, and most of you have not even thought about that. See, for me as a kid who grew up on the streets right outside of DC, I was a homeless kid. A homeless kid at the age of 18 who you probably walked by and saw me eat out of a trash can. You probably didn't think twice about it. But I decided that as a community leader, I was going to be that one day. And I made something of myself. I came back to this town and I decided that I was going to make change. I started a charity with my husband 5 years ago to make sure that you all did not forget that children in care, they deserve us. We owe it to them. We owe it to them to make sure that they are more than just a trash bag, that we owe it to them to define that they are our future. I'm telling each and every one of you, you think about where your life is today, think about a child who doesn't know where their home is tomorrow. I know that each and every one of you have it in your heart to make a difference. We moved to Montgomery County because we knew that this was the place to make change. Change it for these kids in care. Make sure that you understand that the 54% that only graduate from high school is not acceptable. Just remember that you have an opportunity to make a difference. I know we did every single day. So thank you so much. Thank you for this. Thank you for Montgomery County for always supporting us and understanding that, by the way, your community, it is not your zip code. It is our human race. So make a change, and make a change today. Thank you.
Okay. Next, I'm going back to the dais. If I can just say, I'm glad Rob is not running for mayor, because that was amazing. Oh, because this is not just a computer. Yeah, GIS. Okay, thank you. Okay, Young Kim, Justin McCubbin, join me up here, please. We are going to proclaim GIS Day. Geographic Information System Day, GIS Day, is a global event celebrated in November every year and is scheduled on November 14th of this year. The city of Gaithersburg utilizes GIS for everyday functions of government and is hosting a series of events to promote geography awareness and the power of GIS the week of November 11th through the 17th. GIS staff and users are working to provide geographic information in a user-friendly manner utilizing map prints, web maps, and mapping applications. Staff is steadily growing the collection of available dynamic maps and will showcase the city's collection to date. But first, we're going to do this proclamation. Whereas Geographic Information System, GIS, technology plays a vital role in the daily operations of the city of Gaithersburg, increasing the efficiency and effectiveness of its business functions and the equity of its policy decisions. And whereas government services and assets are tracked and analyzed using GIS to create a comprehensive view of their distribution and to guide their improvement, and whereas GIS allows complex data and spatial relationships to be visualized and presented clearly to the public, the mayor and city council, committees, and city staff, and whereas collaboration to achieve better GIS data and products is fostered among the neighboring jurisdictions, city, county, and state, to build a more accurate and up-to-date GIS system which promotes better decision-making. Now, therefore, I, Judd Ashman, by the power vested in me as mayor of Gaithersburg, do hereby proclaim November 14th, 2018 as GIS Day and November 11th through 17th as Geography Awareness Week. Proclaim this 5th day of November 2018, signed by me. Let's give them a round of applause.
And you guys have a presentation. Okay. Have at it.
So this is our 5th annual GIS Day celebration at the city. GIS Days is celebrated around the world. This is a GIS Day website, and they are showing all the events happening around the globe. And let's just drill down to East Coast area. And here are Gaithersburg events. And you can see that our November 14th GIS celebration is registered, and also Community Museum is having GIS Discovery Day on November 17th. This is just interactive map where people can discover where all the events are happening to celebrate GIS.
That's very meta. A GIS map for GIS week.
I know, GIS map, yes, map of GIS Day. In 2014, our first GIS celebration, we debuted this first mapping application. If in our audience have not seen this, I just want to quickly demonstrate. If you start typing address, it will suggest all the city addresses, and then zoom to their property. And then we'll pull and compile all the information that we know about their property from GIS. And whenever you see this color, they will also take you to a further website where you can find information. And the following year, 2015, we created a map and app gallery to feature multiple maps and app applications. And now it has grown to 16 this year. A recent addition includes Gators Police take-home map, where police officers can figure out what geographic extent they are allowed to take their car home overnight, which can be used during the recruiting event. And also, we are very proud to showcase this Neighborhood Renew. This is the first application entirely built by GIS user, not by our GIS members. That's partly due to a platform called Story Map. It's an online platform that let users pull the map and pull images, graphics, videos, text, anything that you want into coherent storytelling component. And in fact, this presentation itself is built on Story Map, and that's why we were able to show you maps at the first slide. Now we are showcasing the applications and such. And this year, we usually we just showcase public applications, but this year I'd like to also mention there are a lot of maps that are created by staffs in various departments in the GIS, using GIS. And I'd like to have a quick look at intranet GIS gallery. We compile this map gallery so that users can discover what each others are doing for the year. So this was what we put together for 2017. In 2017, we also had a company print map gallery. So all the maps that showed in this online gallery were also printed and posted. And we had a popular vote, so the users when came to GIS celebration, they were able to post hard to basically show who's their favorite maps were. And 2016, this gallery goes all the way back to 2014 when we started our GIS celebration. I like to showcase that 3 maps right now. When we see maps, maps are used for so many different purposes. One example would be this 1st of July fireworks, now we call Summerfest. It was an informational material that we posted on the map so that we can guide citizens where are the possibility for viewings and parking and such. But map is also used for staff members to plan the event, where where they are going to set up vendors and where they are going to be waters and all the facilities and road closures. They are mapped out so that we can have a comprehensive planning. And since this was first year that we are moving fireworks, there was also a big analysis done. We took digital surface elevation model of the city, and we knew where the proposed fireworks site was and how high the fireworks could go. And using those information, we were able to do viewshed analysis showing potential locations, which help us to make better decisions. So this is an example of what we can do with all this mapping done by many staff members. I guess we'll move on to.
Move on. Okay.
Up to that, feel like we need to do now.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Yep, just covering up. There we go. So an important aspect of our GIS Day celebration every year is the city staff conducting outreach at local schools. The purpose being to foster basic understanding of maps and geographic awareness. We have gone to Gaithersburg Elementary School for the past 4 years, where we've worked with approximately 130 students in second grade on a Thanksgiving-themed map activity. And this year we are expanding our outreach efforts. We are going to go to Washington Grove and Rosemont Elementary as well, and we are providing sort of printed material support to a volunteer effort at St. Martin's as well. This is just an example of the Thanksgiving map that we use with the kids, where we have them map where the various elements of their Thanksgiving dinner come from. So you can see there in the corner that there's a bit of a riddle, like I am a sweet version of the main ingredient in French fries. So they have to work out what that might be, and then, you know, on a separate sheet with cutouts with all the food items, they can find that item, cut it out, paste it on the map, you know, with the corresponding number. So they learn about the states, they learn about where their food is coming from. And they also learn about the various important map elements like title and map scale and legend and what have you. So we partner with the Community Museum for many of our events as well. They've been an excellent partner with us over the years in promoting maps and GIS Day. We have, Yun mentioned the printed map gallery that we have at the main staff celebration on November 14th. After we exhibit those maps here in the gallery, those get transferred to the Community Museum and are exhibited for the public. So that's a nice way for them to be able to see the various ways that GIS is used by staff in various departments here. And they also host various talks and activities that are free and open to the public as well, all map focused. So this is a general overview of all of the various activities that we have going on throughout the first half of November, really. And again, I would like to just highlight the GIS Day staff celebration on Wednesday, November 14th. That is our main celebration, and you know, we welcome all employees and mayor and council members, of course, as well, to attend. We have, in addition to the printed map gallery, we have staff members present about the various uses of GIS in their work. And interspersed with that, we will have things like GIS and geography trivia, and the donut decorating competition inspired by the city of Gaithersburg's unique donut-like shape. Though you can see this is not a donut, we've expanded over the years to include any sort of donut-shaped food item, so bunt cake, what have you.
And this was the winning entry.
The winning
it was also
entry.
decided by the popular vote.
Right.
It
So
looks delicious.
it does look delicious, and you can see that the theme was data layers. So we have a city polling places data layer. You can see that in the printed election map printout behind the cake. So here we have that in cake form. It's very nice. And so just to round out the week then, I mentioned that the Community Museum hosts a number of activities as well. They will have a guest speaker on Friday, November 16th, and then the Discovery Day on November 17th.
Which are open to the public.
Free and open to the public.
So that concludes our presentations.
Excellent.
And if you have any questions,
Questions, comments? We thank you guys very much for all that you do and for the presentation. And next time there's the donut or the cake cook-off, let us know, because we might show up for that too.
Well,
I will say this just briefly, Mayor. You know, this is such an incredibly useful tool that our staff has been working on for the last few years to really make much more robust for use by the public. And while this presentation is good for educating us up here on the dais about all these tools that we have, I hope that folks in the audience and folks watching at home will take advantage, play around on the site, learn about these tools and what you can use them for, because you can learn a lot about the city and the services we provide and the information about you and your community that will be helpful to you. So I hope folks are paying attention. It's really a great tool that we offer, and thanks to staff for putting it all together and keeping the momentum going and building upon it.
thank you.
Thank you for making a serious comment as well.
I like donuts too, but yeah.
Appreciate that. Okay. Next, we're going to get a presentation on our new drone program, and I'm going to invite Britta Monaco, our Director of Community and Public Relations, Frank Johnson, Assistant City Attorney, and Chris Clifford, who rarely makes an appearance during a meeting down here because he's upstairs running the TV station.
Good. Well, good
Go right
evening,
ahead.
Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
It's kind of hard to follow a donut presentation. It made me hungry, and we will not be dropping donuts from our drone anytime soon.
That's disappointing.
At least it's not the plan. We are here tonight to give you basically a very brief update on where we are with our drone program. And I'm actually going to let Frank start off and talk to you a little bit about what we've had to go through with the FAA and actually what a drone is.
Right. Well, what is a drone? Actually, here we go. A drone seems like a very simple word, drone, but it's actually known as a small unmanned aircraft system. And of course, you have to have an acronym for that because that's rather long, so it's an SUAS. These are regulated closely by the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, and they are permitted by federal law under something known as the FAA Modernization and Reform Act of 2012. At one point, they weren't at all, and that's known as the FMRA for those watching the acronyms.
And that is an example of our drone.
That's the actual drone that we have that we bought some time ago. Now, until July 2016, in order for a local government, not like a hobbyist, because that's where sometimes the question comes from, we'll see hobbyists, individual persons are simply using small drones under 55 pounds for their own uses. Local governments have had different rules. Until July 2016, in fact, you needed formal FAA, what's known as a Certificate of Waiver, or acronym COW is what they would call it. But that was for local use that was required. It was fairly complicated to go through. If the restrictions didn't fit, there was also one known that sometimes local government would try both, which would be for nonprofits. However, in 2016, Part 107, or also known as Section 107 of the FAA regulations, came into play. That's a usage allowance. That simply allows us to use the drone under certain circumstances without having to go through an FAA certification process, even be able to do that at all. The pilots do have to be certified. They have to pass a test. There are some significant use limits. Daytime only, has to be within the pilot line of sight. A visual observer, which is also an acronym for a VO, also isn't necessarily required, but certainly recommended, and it can't be over other persons. Certain safety rules also have to be in play. There are waivers that certainly can be requested, and those do require FAA approval, such as in some cases might be flying at night or even flying over other persons. And is this another picture of our?
This is the actual drone being flown in the back of Boer Park while we were being trained on its use. So, not realizing how extensive the process was going to be to allow for the use of our drone, we did end up purchasing it at the end of the FY16 budget year, with the thought that we'd have it up within about 6 months, hopefully in time for the book festival in 2017. Obviously, it took a bit longer than that. We were very thoughtful, though, about exploring its uses. So we convened a team that consisted of about a dozen staff members from other departments within the city. We brainstormed ideas. We really looked at how we would be using it and then what we would need to apply for through the FAA, or what hoops we would have to jump through based on those uses. And then if you recall, in the fall of 2016, in November of that year, we came before you with a proposal to launch a drone program and to get going with it, what we would need to do that. And with your support, we then started down the road to acquire a vendor who could assist us with that.
And actually in June 2018, after talking with them back and forth, ended up contracting, after looking at several other proposals, with Aviation Systems Engineering Company, which is ASIC. They are primarily located in Florida, but also have some significant Maryland ties, have worked with Legit in terms of insurance for drones, have presented at many different NML conventions as well, or at least a couple of them. And really, they made the most comprehensive proposal to assist us, because we weren't just looking at, oh, get us the legalities, because we can figure out the legalities at some point. We also knew that we needed to have certain safety and operational policies in place. And I'm not a pilot. We just don't have that level of expertise. We also wanted ongoing guidance. We also wanted to get this thing up and running once we got started within a few months, and make sure that we're following all the correct steps. As part of that, then, with the help of ASIC, we were able to develop policy documents and program development, and we'll kind of touch on the details there, and had those completed as of August 2018, just a few months after entering into the contract.
And then Chris was going to talk a little bit about what he and Chris Norris had to go through to become pilots.
Okay, well, training consisted of a full-day webinar and 2 days on-site hands-on. So during the full-day webinar, they gave us enough information to prepare for the FAA pilot test. We were taught how to work as a drone team, safety precautions for pre-flight and flight, and we were also taught risk management for the crew and post-flight procedures. Then after the webinar, we studied on our own for a couple of weeks, and we took an online practice test that helped us prepare with questions that were going to be on the exam, those type of questions. And we took the test at Montgomery Airport, and we both passed and got our FAA pilot's license. And after receiving the license, we had 2 full days of field training. We practiced flying the drone behind the aquatic center, the pool. And we put our coursework into action, and we practiced flying the drone, and we were field tested in a series of maneuvers, and we had to show how we used risk management, because when you're on site, you want to make sure you're not hitting any obstacles and just things like that. Safety and teamwork. It's important to note it's just one pilot. It's not one pilot flying it. There's also a requirement for a visual observer. This helps ensure that drone is used in a safe manner. And Judd was out with us last week, and when you're flying it, when it gets away from you, you really have no depth of field. You cannot tell how far it is away from you. So it's good to have a visual observer on site.
Not that I made that happen when I
You did not lose the job.
don't want to ruin my rep here.
No, but nothing happened. But we have documents now in place. Each time before, there's procedures we have to follow. So each time before we go on a flight, we have to notify the FAA of our plans, basically get permission from them, tell them where we're going to be. Mm-hmm. We're required to, we have to document each flight. We have to describe our missions. We have to log our flight duties. We have to log flight time. And we carry a field guide with us that contains our drone registration and pilot's license. And we are certified to train others. But in the future, we're going to have to continually participate in updating our training. This will include resource management, aviation safety, and renewing our FAA pilot's license every 2 years.
sense.
And I can
How much do
say
you think we
that
can get for that drone on eBay?
I can say that both Chris Clifford and Chris Norris went through quite a study period in order to go through the test and pass it at the first shot. So,
Congratulations.
reason to be
Congratulations.
This was just an example of what's one piece of what's included in the field guide.
Okay.
But we wanted to talk briefly just about these operations manuals and what the public can learn from them.
right, and they are online as well. But the flight operations manual really it overall has the safety requirements that are listed there, but also the use and privacy policy reflecting the city's policy and some of the input that we received during the presentation in November of 2016. Meaning, the first line of the privacy policy is not to be used for law enforcement by police or for neighborhood services such as for civil code enforcement, will not interfere with activities protected by the First Amendment. I'm not going to violate or take any steps to violate the Fourth Amendment either. There's also a good neighbor policy that speaks somewhat informally to the pilot that says don't violate any reasonable expectations of privacy. And we somewhat enhanced it not to gather personal data, don't be flying over private property if at all avoidable, and really worked with ASEC to make sure that the city's concerns were included in the final draft before anything was ready for final approval.
So these manuals now appear on the department page for Community and Public Relations, so the public can access them all there. So what are our intended uses for the drone? The program initially started with a desire really to capture images that we could use for advertising and marketing of our events. We envisioned things like overhead shots of the Book Festival and Oktoberfest and Summerfest. We also think it could be useful for things like conducting virtual tours of our parks, perhaps even interior shots from some of our facilities to show how they could be used for weddings or other special occasions. Speaking of GIS, rather than wait for satellite or periodic flyovers for our overhead images, the drone can provide an opportunity to capture data for mapping whenever we have the need for it. We've also identified some uses for the inspections of things like tree canopies, stormwater facilities that might be difficult to reach. And then we've also are looking forward to using it for planning and analysis and review. We actually have our first order from another department to take some shots to be used by the Planning Commission for an upcoming review. So those drone shots could be able to provide more updated real-time view for our staff and officials when reviewing those states. As Frank stated, the drone is not going to be used for code enforcement or law enforcement purposes. And we wanted to show you just a few examples of still shots, but Chris put a video package together of just a few images that we took recently to give you an idea of what it looks like. This is the Watkins Mill interchange under construction. And then
It's a great shot.
Yeah, I think you're going to want to keep the drone after you see these.
The expectation is that once it's used for such things as planning review, that once the first one is used, there will be desire for that to be used much more routinely.
Okay, well, as a tribute to old sportscaster Warner Wolf, let's go to the videotape. Okay, so this is an example of showing large projects, and we can just record this as these projects move on.
You certainly don't see that when you're driving down the highway.
No, it's great.
Very cool.
Another large planning project. And this shot, again, when you're in planning meetings where they come before you and they show you a map of something, well, we could go to different sites and get different angles, and they can also show you video footage now in meetings. Just giving you a variety of shots here just to see.
they've had fun for the last couple of weeks.
And you can see a different ballpark here, Kelly Park. can use these types of shots for marketing spots for the city. And just a beauty shot here to give you an idea. That's the last one.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Thank you, Chris.
So we are now ready to launch our drone program within the confines of the requirements that we must fulfill. And we would be happy to answer any questions that you have about
Thank you all. This has been an epic journey, and we were not expecting that. I mean, it seems like the whole process was only slightly less taxing than it would be to actually get licensed to fly 737.
That might have been faster.
It might have been faster to do that. It's
I
true.
think I'm only this close to doing that anyway.
But I thank you. You saved the best for last, because those shots are pretty remarkable, and I think it really could be helpful, not just for marketing purposes, which was originally what it was conceived for, but also for planning purposes. And we see a lot of two-dimensional maps and presentations of applications, and I can see how this could lend some opportunity to enhance those and give us a better sense of how things lay out and such. So, comments, questions?
Yeah, I mean, I was joking earlier about selling the drone, but obviously you guys have had a lot of determination and put in a ton of work to deal with the regulations imposed upon us by the federal government, which we can't get around. So thank you for that. Thank you for taking the time and energy to do that, to build these manuals, to go through the testing, to get certified as a pilot. I think it is going to end up being a great asset for the city to use in a lot of creative ways, maybe even in some ways we haven't even thought of yet, but within the confines of our parameters. But the shots that you showed at the end of the presentation, I mean, I'm sure I speak for everybody when I say they got us excited. They got they got us really juiced to see like what we can use this thing for, and how cool it is to see our city from different perspectives. So that alone makes it worthwhile, I think. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, when you first came to us several years ago, I was a little skeptical about the utility of this sort of thing, but I can see now that there's a lot of potential here. So I guess this is the inaugural of the Gaithersburg Air Force, right?
Space Force.
Space Force.
We're not quite up to Space Force
It can't be over 400 feet,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it won't be quite
Won't be in
in
space.
space.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to Parks and Rec, and we're going to invite Jim McGuire, Dave Ludington, Maura Dinwiddie, and Rachel Tailby, all from our Parks and Rec, specifically Recreation, to give us an update on stats and survey results related to sports and summer camps and recreation and culture programs.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. I am Jim McGuire, the Division Chief for Sports and Youth Services. This evening's presentation will cover the City of Gaithersburg sports and summer camp recreation programs. On behalf of the division, thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. Participants and families involved in community-based recreation feel connected. They're enriched and energized by their participation in city programs. The three pillars illustrated here reflect the city's overall goals to provide the services that are high quality, affordable, and accessible. Commitment to excellence in programming is maintained through upholding high quality standards in planning, implementation, and assessment. The city strives to ensure affordability by maintaining reasonable registration rates for city residents so that all children and families are able to participate. Opportunities for financial assistance packages are available for select summer and sports programs for qualifying city residents. Recreation programs are inclusive, drawing people together for various races and cultures. The department also ensures accessibility through convenient access programs and services. As the city population grows, Gaithersburg's vital sports and summer programs help residents thrive. Community-based recreation programs, whether in the realm of sports or summer camps, offer many benefits. Participation improves physical and mental health, enhances overall well-being, and develops the social skills and self-confidence, encourages teamwork, and provides mentorship through role models and people of character. The department is continually looking for ways to evaluate program effectiveness and implement new strategies to enhance program outcomes while exceeding customer and community expectations. The drive to achieve sparks the desire to never be status quo. A variety of tools are used to gather and analyze the data that guide staff to make informed decisions. The toolkit includes parent and participant surveys, program registration data, information provided through industry standards and GIS mapping. Data collection on best practices and trends is obtained through networking and trainings provided by professional associations, such as the National Parks and Recreation Association, Maryland Recreation and Parks Association, the Middle Atlantic Recreation Parks and Sports Alliance, and the American Camping Association. These resources serve as a blueprint for success. With me tonight is David Ludington, Senior Recreation Supervisor for Sports, and on behalf of summer camps is Community Facility Manager Maura Dinwiddie and Senior Recreation Supervisor Rachel Tailby, who will provide further information on program surveys and statistics. Dave will now introduce and present on sports.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Members, the city sports team researches trends to provide to the interest of the community. In 2006, the mayor and city council adopted the Arizona Sports Summit Accords for raising standards in youth sports. The pillars of the Character Counts program are incorporated into all of our sports programs. Fun happens here has been the motto of the sports program for the past 15 years and has been promoted by our mascot, Coach G. The mission of the sports program is to create opportunities for individuals and groups to participate in leisure activities, a place for people, young and young at heart, to play. On any given Saturday morning, thousands in our community, whether players, parents, or siblings, are headed out to a game. In no other place do so many people congregate in the spirit of good citizenship. The city's philosophy was developed over years of program evaluation and studies to curb an alarming concern in youth sports, and national waning in youth sports participation. Why this reduction? According to participant surveys, number one on the list was, it isn't fun. So the city developed a philosophy to put the fun back into the game, leading to a positive and safer sports experience. No one learns a skill by sitting on the bench. The sports program structure encourages participation, which develops fundamental skills. The city sports program promotes good sportsmanship at all the games, emphasizing the importance of character counts. The six pillars of character counts, as portrayed on the banner you're viewing, celebrates the benefits and positive aspects from participation in a youth sports program. Another aspect of the city sports philosophy is to offer the opportunity for youth to participate in a variety of sports. Through evaluation, research, and outreach, the city sports team continually adjusts the needs and desires of our community. Along with leagues, classes, and clinics, the city also offers special events such as Sports Fest, a one-day event celebrating youth sports in our city, the Mid-Atlantic Recreation Parks and Sports Alliance track and field games, and the annual Coaches Picnic, celebrating the contributions of our volunteer coaches. While registrations dropped slightly in 2018, our percentage of residents has stayed near 40% for the last 20 years. This past fall, the sports team adapted the fall schedule to coincide with the later school opening and has effectively increased overall registration by 19% over the fall of 2017, with the residency rate at 47%. The city also offers the opportunity for adults to continue to play the sports that they love or to try and enjoy a new sport like pickleball. Adult sports leagues provide a positive outlet for adults to exercise and stay socially and physically fit. Studies have shown that children of active parents are more than 2 times more likely to be active themselves. The GIS map of Montgomery County shows the location of participants from our past fiscal year. The majority of the registrations are in the greater Gaithersburg area. However, this map demonstrates how the city's unique sports program and valued philosophy have drawn participants from all over the county. Volunteer coaches are the backbone of our sports program. The sports program has a need for approximately 655 individual coaches over the course of a year. However, because many of our volunteer coaches will coach in multiple sports or, in many cases, multiple teams within a sport, the programs are conducted with 261 coaches. The success of the program rests with these volunteers who give so freely of their time to our youth. The department is always seeking people of character to develop teamwork skills and a willingness to give back to their community. Some of these coaches have been recognized by the mayor and city council at meetings as recipients of the Good Sports Coach of the Year annual award. Like everything else in life, there are trends. Recent sports trends include an increased interest in sports like track and field and cross country. There has also been an observable trend in the shift of interest for sports such as baseball, softball, and football. As the city strives to accommodate the growing demand for pickleball, volleyball, and even sand volleyball, the department will continue to repurpose and determine the resources. Other notable trends are speed and agility clinics to help athletes enhance their performance. The Ready, Set, Run program is designed to prepare young runners to participate in the annual Kentlands Lakelands 5K race. And the city has currently shifted programming for younger ages, including soccer for kindergartners and our Start Smart Sports program for ages 4 to 6. Keeping up with national trends and knowing the preferences and interests of the city's residents, the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Culture is better equipped to provide healthy opportunities through recreation. Now I'd like to turn it over and introduce Maura Dinwiddie and Rachel Tailby, who will be presenting on behalf of the summer camp program.
Thank you. Good evening. The city is dedicated to providing the best possible summer camp experience in an environment that is both fun and safe. Parents look to the city during the summer to find affordable, accessible, and high-quality camp programs for their children. According to national research, parks and recreation agencies are the cornerstone for communities in providing quality out-of-school time programs that keep youth actively engaged and connected to role models that are critical to their current and future success as they grow into adults. The city provides both traditional and specialized camps. The goal of summer programs is to provide a range of options to meet the interests and needs of Gaithersburg's youth and families. The city's summer programs operate from June to August at multiple locations throughout Gaithersburg for youth ages 4 to 16, with both full and partial day options available. The majority of participants attend traditional day camps, which offer a variety of recreation activities, including sports, group games, arts and crafts, special events, swimming at the water park, and field trips. The specialty clinics at the youth centers complement traditional day camps by capturing interests in focused subject matters like STEM and STEAM. The department offers additional specialty programming, including visual and performing arts, sports clinics, classes, and preschool care. The camp team routinely reviews data from registration software to evaluate the assortment of summer offerings. Summer camps boast an overall 70% city residency rate, demonstrating that the needs of residents are served for a variety of age ranges and neighborhoods. City residents account for over 2,000 camp registrations each season, representing over 600 individual children, a figure that has remained consistent over the past several summers. Surveys are a high-value assessment tool used in measuring the quality and positive impact of programs. During the 2018 camp season, parent surveys were disseminated both electronically and in hard copy to gather as much information and feedback as possible that assists in future planning. The graph shown here indicates that above all other factors, parents prioritize program location, cost, and hours when enrolling their child in summer camp. Surveys also help staff determine the most beneficial type of summer camp to offer. The pie chart depicted here illustrates that middle school campers and parents do not have a distinct preference between traditional or specialty camps, supporting the need to offer both styles of programs. In response to the interest for specialty programs, STEM and STEAM curricula cover subjects including sound engineering, film production, animation, and forensic science. The camp team is able to offer and maintain a series of high-quality, educational, and affordable STEM and STEAM programs at the youth centers by capitalizing on the knowledge and experience of talented city staff rather than contracting out these services.
GIS mapping is another valuable tool used to analyze data and identify trends. The map presented here showcases the relationship between the 2018 campsite locations and the addresses of the elementary school participants served. Rachel Carson, Diamond, and Fields Road are the top 3 elementary schools attended by campers and have consistently remained as such despite changes in campsite locations over the years. The camp team makes every effort to identify campsite locations that are convenient and accessible to all city residents. Staff considers other factors, including the locations of non-city affiliated programs, such as Title I summer programs, private sector offerings, and neighboring municipal camps when selecting camp locations. The next map is useful as a comparative tool for camp participation for youth ages 5 to 17. The map displays the relationship, divided by census block, between the actual number of 2018 camp participants with the estimated number of youth who may be eligible to enroll. When interpreting these maps, factors such as language barriers, income, and access to transportation services should be considered before making data-driven decisions. Evaluating community needs is an ongoing process as a variety of factors may influence program participation. For example, lower camp enrollment rates are seen near Title I schools. This is largely due to the fact that free summer learning opportunities are provided for students at these schools. The city continues to ascertain how to best utilize GIS information moving forward to optimize services. The summer camp team is proud to highlight the 2018 season accomplishments and celebrate successes achieved over the past several years, demonstrating that city camp programs are relevant and meaningful. A trending theme in summer programming is the emphasis and value placed on volunteerism. The importance of community service is evidenced by the impressive 5,000 plus hours of service accomplished by the volunteers in the counselor and training program. The effective management of the in-house bus fleet and well-organized planning of scheduled off-site activities enabled a staggering 228 field trips for campers to enjoy. This summer, city camps successfully passed the state inspection for the Code of Maryland Regulations, also known as COMAR, to maintain its good standing status as a self-regulated camp operator. Camps must meet stringent standards regarding staff supervision, health and safety procedures, employee background checks, and required reporting and documentation to comply with COMAR regulations to operate safe and secure campsites. Significant enhancements to the staff training is a fundamental initiative implemented in recent years. Objectives focus on intentional practices, positive behavior management, and real-life camp scenarios to maximize staff engagement and improve information retention. The addition of outside professional organizations has further enriched the interactive nature of staff training. These accomplishments and other information shared in this evening's presentation demonstrate how vibrant and vital the city's camps are today and what a strong foundation they have in the Gaithersburg community.
City sports and summer programs contribute to ensuring that Gaithersburg is a great place to live, work, learn, and play. Nationally, recreation services are cited as critical components of a livable community and viewed by residents as a commitment to a quality of life. Sports and summer programs foster social equity, cultivate community ties, and create identity for city residents that is both meaningful and desirable. As one camp parent said this past summer, awesomeness is practiced here. On behalf of the Sports and Youth Services Division, Thank you for the opportunity to present this evening. This concludes our presentation, and we are happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you all. I'm glad we went through this. You guys put all this together. Obviously, a lot of work went into it. Appreciate how you integrated GIS into it too. It was interesting and well done. In terms of the message, you're preaching to the converted. This is relevant and meaningful is an understatement. I think these programs. There are a lot of things that make Gaithersburg a community and not just buildings and addresses. And this is part of the fabric. These programs, our sports, our camps, our recreation programs contribute meaningfully to all of our sense of community. And as Dave knows, I first met Dave because I was one of those volunteer coaches, and my kids went through the summer camps, and it was part of our getting us ingrained to the city of Gaithersburg. And I only hope, and I encourage parents of younger kids and adults who want to get involved in recreational programs, that we have such great stuff going on here. So I can't thank all of you enough for all that you do in making this into more of a community than it would be without it, for sure. Questions, comments?
I'll just echo what's been said, but I find it interesting. There are a couple of slides in your presentation talk about how the programs draw from quite a lot of folks outside the city. I think that's really quite a testament to how great the programs are, but I think it's also a great opportunity for us to, expose people outside of the city to all of the programs and services that we offer and why we're such a good place. And I'm sure that happens, and I'm sure folks go back to their communities outside the city and go, wow, Gaithersburg has these great things to offer. So in that way, the program is all the programs that you have are terrific ambassadors for the city as well throughout the county and the area. But thanks for all you do, and thanks for the very informative presentation.
Yeah, it's very impressive, everything that's been going on, and the presentation is mostly clear. I do have questions on one of the slides. On slide 20, the camp participation. You're showing color-coded by participation rate, and I'm not quite sure what those numbers represent. 1% of what? 3%
Number
of what?
Kids that are in that area.
Is that what it is? Of the population of children?
Do you want to take this?
Yeah.
Rachel.
So the 10% and greater means that basically it coincides with 10% or more of participants who are eligible to participate are in fact participating. So essentially, if you're taking a look, for example, at a darker color, where if you were to look above, I don't know if I can point.
There we go.
So if
like this really dark block.
The really dark box where it says 4. So this is a very easy example because there are 3 out of 4 eligible participants living there are in fact participating. So
there are only 4 eligible people.
There are 4, so
the
probably that's in the area where Asbury is.
So, not that many children in Asbury.
Correct. So what that white number refers to is that there are 4 eligible people living there between the ages of 5 and 17 who could participate in our programs, and 3 people
makes it much more understandable. Thank you.
So greater than 10%.
Okay, that's great. No, it's great data, and it's obviously the program is doing well. And I really was, as Ryan pointed out, the level of participation from outside the city is remarkable, and is a testament to your work. And just it's a surprise to see that. It's not something I would have expected.
If you guys have suggestions for the lighter colored areas, Old Town, I understand the theory that you guys posited, and it seems reasonable that there are free programs out there for those kids, and so they're not they're not paying customers of our programs, but anything that we can do to bring those kids in, we're open to ideas.
Well, thank you.
So thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have public comments. And this is the time the Mayor and Council would like to hear from anybody from the public who'd like to speak on any topic. We ask that you keep your comments to no more than 3 minutes. State your name and address or neighborhood for the record. Do we have any speakers this evening? Going once, going twice. Okay, then we're going to go to from the Mayor and Council. We're going to start with Council Member Harris.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm going to keep it very brief tonight. First of all, Halloween was awesome. It was an amazing night for weather, as we all, I'm sure, noticed, and had a great turnout. I know in my neighborhood, and from what I've heard all over the city, it was just great fun. We had council in the communities during the past couple of weeks at Lakelands Park Middle School. We had the usual good turnout. For those of you in the TV audience who haven't participated in a council in the communities, we bring city staff as well as the council and have a chance to present all of the services that the city provides and take questions and comments and concerns from the residents. So we do this 3 or 4 times a year, and we always get a good turnout and some great questions, and have a chance to take your input and deal with any issues that are brought to our attention. Finally, I'd just like to jump. Since I get to go first, I'll say this because I know everyone else is going to say it. We have this thing happening tomorrow. It's Election Day. As I'm sure you've heard, if you've watched television, you might have seen a commercial or two about various candidates and their platforms. Whatever your feelings and whoever you're supporting, please come out and vote if you haven't already. I know 20% of the eligible voters in Montgomery County have already come out to vote early, which is fantastic. It's a huge number. But of course, we'd like to see as many people as possible weigh in on their opinions. Some of the major races going on, there's a race for governor, race for our local congressperson, for county executive. Those are all highly contested races. So make sure that if you don't participate, then don't complain afterwards that you didn't get the guy you wanted or the person you wanted. So I have an announcement. Notice to the general public is hereby given that members of the mayor and city council and city staff plan to conduct an interview for candidates seeking to fill the vacant position on the Board of Appeals. The interviews are scheduled for Monday, November 13th, beginning at 6:30 p.m. at City Hall, 31 South Summit Avenue, second floor gallery. The public is welcome to attend, but public comment will not be permitted. For more information, please contact Municipal Clerk Doris Stokes at 301-258-6310. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Ryan.
Thank you. First off, let me say this is our first mayor and council session since the tragedy in Pittsburgh, and a lot of community gatherings have already happened here in the city and around the region. One of the first was a vigil and service the Sunday night immediately after the tragedy and the shooting at my own synagogue, Sharei Torah, which happens to be the only synagogue that's actually in the borders of the city. And it was a very powerful experience. My family is very active in that synagogue community, and I just want to say thank you, not only to the folks within that community, but from the folks all around the Gaithersburg community and the greater Gaithersburg community outside the city who came to participate in that event, including the mayor and council members Harris and Sesma and Wu, who were there, as well as many others from other faith communities outside the Jewish community. It was a powerful gathering and an important message that we can come together and that we can lift love up over hate in these times. It's, you get to the point where you're sort of at a loss for words every time one of these horrible tragedies happens, and wondering why we can't do more in our society these days to try to minimize the risk of these things from happening. I don't want to get too political about it, but there is an election tomorrow. But mostly I just want to say thank you. to those folks who've come out and expressed their solidarity. And I know there have been many other events and gatherings around the region. I believe there was an event at Kentlands this past weekend,
I went.
organized by the Kentlands community, and many others in other synagogues, and just other gathering spaces. So let's continue to keep the victims in our prayers, and let's continue to work towards a more unified and supporting community, not only here but around the country and world. Mayor Ashman mentioned earlier during the presentations that he and I attended the powwow event this past weekend. Brought my kids there. It's always a lot of fun. It's a great opportunity to get more education, cultural education about the Native American communities, and it's fun, and it's a feast for the eyes. Beautiful presentations, beautiful historical costumes and ritual costumes that are on display, and just really a neat event. So thanks to everybody who was involved in organizing that. Thanks to the Multicultural Affairs Committee. A number of the council members are going to be attending the annual conference of the National League of Cities in the next few days. This is an opportunity for us to get together with mayors and council members from all over the country, share ideas, network, go to seminars, learn good things that we can bring back to the city on a number of different topics. So when we return, we'll be sure to report back on some of the good things we've learned and some of the ideas that we've shamelessly stolen from other cities and towns around the country, which is part of it. It's one of the benefits of going to conferences like these. And then finally, I just wanted to remind everybody that the city's Veterans Day ceremony is coming up on November 11th, and I encourage folks to attend. That's going to be at the City Hall Concert Pavilion, as it always is. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Great. So these guys took care of most of what was on my list to say. Yes, I want to encourage everyone to vote, and I want to encourage everyone to join us for our Veterans Day ceremony on Sunday. As Ryan mentioned, there was a profound impact in our community after the Tree of Life shooting in Pittsburgh. Some of it has to do with the fact that we're so close to Pittsburgh. There are a lot of people who grew up in that area who probably live here, including at least a couple people in this room that I'm looking toward right now. It really resonated here, and as a lot of these tragedies do, and so it did mean a lot to us to see the gatherings of to be able to take part in the special service at Shari Torah, and then on Saturday night, just sort of a not impromptu, but a very community-driven candlelight vigil that happened in Kentlands. And I just have to say, as mayor, it really makes me proud of this community, the most diverse city in America, who knows, maybe the world, that we have. I think it's no accident that we're so lucky in to live in the harmony that we live in. That all these cultures come together in Gaithersburg, and we're in harmony, and it is luck, but at the same time, it's not luck. It's because we're a community. And times like these, when people come together, it really illustrates the strength and the love that's in this community, and it makes me proud. We're, as everyone knows, we have a tradition. The mayors here have a tradition of saying we live in the greatest city in the world. We have the honor to serve the greatest city in the world, and we say it with no irony. I mean, we believe. I believe, I know our council members believe in the greatness of this city. It's because people in this community care. And when we see it on display, even though we certainly would prefer under different circumstances, it still, it makes you feel good about where we are and who we are as a community. So I want to congratulate everybody in the community who has come together and supported one another in any way, pursuant to any of these tragic situations. So, moving on to business, we will. Next Monday is the observed Veterans Day, so we will be meeting on Tuesday of next week to conduct a work session, and we will receive a staff update on the permit parking program on Tuesday, and then the next regular meeting is on November 19th, and that will be a long one because of the business we weren't able to get to tonight because we don't have a quorum. That will all happen on the 19th. So take a nap before that meeting. Move on to from the city manager.
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to say I appreciated Park's presentation tonight and kind of the glimpse into their decision-making processes. I know that budget time's coming up rapidly, just a couple months away, and we'll be discussing ways to increase some of the participation and maybe come up with some different ways to do some outreach to get some of the numbers up in those areas that have lower percentages. But in general, I was really pleased. And then pairing on that with the discussion of voting, I wanted to call out in particular the activity center staff led by Gardner Torrance. Early voting had about triple the turnout for the last midterm election, about 13,000 voters, and there were other large events going on at the same time, both school-related and park-related, and you didn't hear anything about it, which is great. They kept things running. We got excellent feedback from the Board of Supervisors of Election, so my appreciation goes out to them as well.
We echo that. In fact, we're all very proud to play host to a very popular early voting site. So
it is, but it's very different from what they do, and they only do it every couple of years at the activity center. So they really hit their stride this year. I thought it was a really challenging season, and they did a great job.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just say I voted early on Thursday evening, the last hour of the last day of early voting. And I thought to myself, all right, I don't have anywhere else to be tonight, so I kind of went in there with an open mind, and I walked in, and there were probably 1,000 people in line. It was just a festive atmosphere. People were hanging out. The staff, not only the staff from the activity center in the city, but also all the folks who were volunteering and working for the election for the county. They just had a very well-oiled machine, and it was great. It was fun. I've never been so happy to wait in a long line. So,
very good. We'll move on to economic development. Tom Lonergan.
Thank you, Mayor. 2 quick items tonight. I just wanted to mention that the city's new FedEx ground distribution center, which hasn't even opened for business, already has a new owner. The Morris Companies, which is based in New Jersey, just closed on the site, and they bought it for about $134 million, about a little over 3 times what they bought the site for. The company owns real estate properties across the Mid-Atlantic. The portfolio includes industrial, retail, office properties. This transaction was not unexpected. SunCap, the prior owner, this is what they do. They develop sites for FedEx and then sell to companies like Morris. FedEx does remain the tenant for the space, expected to open for business next year. Still expect to have about 300 employees on site. I wanted to mention that currently the State Department of Assessment and Taxation values the property at nearly $69 million. That's prior to this purchase. We did see that if the property were reassessed to match the latest sale price, this site would become the 6th largest property owner in the city based on assessment, just below RPAI, the owner of Downtown Crown. Traditionally, warehouse properties did have lower values, but growth in e-commerce has changed that. So I just wanted to make mention about that. Secondly, and finally, in case you hadn't seen the notice on social media sites, Green Growlers Bar and Restaurant here in Old Town will be changing its name and business focus over the next few months. Sharon and I met with the manager last week and learned that Green Growlers will be continuing to operate on the upper floors as a bar and restaurant. The first floor will become the East Diamond Brewing Company, with a greater emphasis on quality beers and brewing. Change includes new ownership and management and a new brew master. As of today, the city has received no related permits for signage or interior work. We wish them well. We'll continue to meet with them and let you know how they're doing.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
From the city attorney.
Nothing this evening.
Anything from any other staff? Okay, not seeing anything. Well then, as I mentioned, we have our work session next week on Tuesday rather than the Monday on the permit parking program. And we have our Veterans Day ceremony on Sunday at 11 a.m. Right here at City Hall. And until next time, let's do great things, Gaithersburg. We are adjourned.